Hi there, thanks for watching. I'm Christiana and my channel is The Well-Behaved Wallet, where I talk about mindset, motivation, and making or saving money. So lately I've been thinking a lot about motivation and achieving your goals and how to move faster to achieve your goals quicker. And just to move farther, because I feel like I set these big audacious goals and I give up, or I lose motivation halfway through. So really, how do I keep that motivation going strong when I know the goals are really big? And just kind of thinking through and what I've been exposed to in terms of the thinkers and the thoughts, the books that I read, kind of trying to synthesize out a new and improved process for how to achieve goals. I also have been thinking about how I personally have achieved goals in the past, and they haven't been anything huge, but I feel like you take the blueprint of something that you know you've been successful at, and then you like 10x, or you blow it up and you magnify that. So you use what works and then you make it bigger. So this is my plan for how to move forward and to make my results bigger as I move toward these big goals. So number one is to release. And that sounds kind of counterintuitive, but the way that it works is I find personally, and I've heard this again from other people, and I find this to be personally true in my life. Sometimes I feel like I get really tired because I'm holding so tightly on to the outcome of whatever it is I'm trying to work towards, whether it be a financial goal or wanting to achieve certain metrics. I feel like I watch so tightly and I get really involved in the outcome, and I don't worry, or I'm not as focused on the process. And I feel like the more you can release what happens, the more successful you will be and the less heavy it is and the more you can do. So Burchard, a great personal development thinker and teacher, has what he calls a release meditation. And I kind of do my own sort of abridged version. It's like a 2-minute long version where I just sort of sit and try to think of nothing, to sit in silence and allow the God of the universe to inspire me and to kind of direct my thoughts. But this idea of releasing, I think, is so powerful because so often I'm holding on so tightly and I don't even notice it. So I think that's super important. So number one is to release. And number two is to do more, but only as it specifically relates to your goals. So for me, my goals are really, really clear. It's eBay, YouTube, and the blog. And I feel like rather I get sidetracked by all the different options and paths and other other things, opportunities that are out there. And I know that for me, if I were to just focus on what absolutely matters the most on these 3 things for a specific amount of time and then evaluate my results, I know that I would move quicker, because I feel like sometimes I'm just so paralyzed by all the different options out there. So that's number 2. Number 3 is to allow the momentum of what you're doing to carry you forward. And this can be a little bit tough because I know that once I get involved in something, it's like it takes over me completely. Like I eat, sleep, and breathe it. And then it can be difficult to recharge. You end up getting burnt out really quickly, and I'm someone that's prone to very quick burnout. So while the momentum is there and I can allow the momentum, being very clear in a time frame of saying this is only going to last for this amount of days is really helpful, and that's something that I need to keep in mind. The 4th thing is to have very clear routines, systems, and goals, ways to measure that, the output of your routines and systems, because there's this whole, I guess, ethos or sort of idea of the entrepreneur is hustling and moving really fast. And well, it's important. I also think that it's important to be sustainable, because you can do one thing for a certain amount of time, but eventually you'll realize if you're really giving above and beyond, it's just not sustainable to have that as part of your existence. So I guess, working on things that you can comfortably work into your routine rather than being sort of all sprinting and getting worn out. And I feel like number 3 and 4 can be a little bit contradictory. It's like you're saying allowing the momentum to carry you forward and yet to have these routines in place. And I think that they sort of counterbalance each other. It's like you have this sprint of time when you're really pushing through to get something done, and then you have routines that you fall back into once that sprint and that sort of quick start is over. So I feel like they work together actually really well. And number 5 is to look for the breakthrough. And this is something that's super important. and can be a challenge because, for me at least, I feel like I get stuck in the same way of thinking, and that way of thinking isn't necessarily, it doesn't serve me. And I know that there are thoughts and beliefs and attitudes that I've adopted that are so deeply ingrained in me that I don't even know that they're there. So gradually, I think, as I look toward these goals that are outside of these thoughts and attitudes, I'll have to be aware of where you can break through and where you can stop thinking the way that you've thought in the past and start looking for new mindsets and new ways of thinking. So be on the lookout for the breakthrough is number 5. So these are 5 methods, 5 tactics that I'm going to incorporate into my own life and focus on as I look to have more energy and motivation as I'm achieving my goals. So I'm, again, aiming to take successful results and magnify them and make them bigger on a bigger scale. This is something I've never done before, and it's can be really exhausting, and it's tempting just to fall back into what's comfortable. So I'm really trying to challenge myself to keep moving forward and not allow myself to settle. So that's what I got for you today. Let me know how you're doing with your goals and how you are working toward accomplishing them. So thanks again for watching, and I hope that you will keep watching. Bye.